and welcome to just another episode of the Cougarlicious Clubhouse, where we recognize women who stand in their power, celebrate the divine diva, and enjoy a little eye candy. And boy, do we have an episode for you today. We have twice as nice. We have Shelly and Westly Stevens. But before we get into this, I want to recognize our sponsor for today's show, and that is Linder Health Skincare. Linder Health, it's healthcare for your skin. I've been using it for years and I absolutely love them. And if you go on to linderhealth.com/Donna and order some products, you'll get a free gift. So just like telling them that Donna sent you. Okay? All right. And remember, I really want to thank all of our subscribers. When you go online, please like, share, and subscribe, and hit that little bell to make sure that you're notified when every single episode comes on, and you'll never miss another episode, and you're just going to enjoy every single one that comes on. So without any further ado, I would like to introduce twice as nice Shelly and Westly Stevens. But first I'd like to talk to Shelly, because Shelly is definitely a very cougarlicious lady. Yes, and she brought her eye candy hubby, Westly Stevens. Yeah. I absolutely adore the two of you.
Oh, as we do
absolutely.
You're a doll. There's no question about it.
Shelly, I want to ask, first of all, where are you from? I mean, you are a beautiful lady. You have been singing for so many years. Yeah. Where did you get your start?
Oh my goodness.
Just the beginning of your stories.
Okay, yes. Well, I was born in New Jersey, so I'm an original Jersey girl. But my mom was there by accident at a party. She was 9 months pregnant, right? But she was there in Jersey. We're from Philly.
Oh, okay.
She crossed the bridge and went to a party. My mom was a dancer, and she was like a backup dancer for Fats Domino and people like that back in the day. Yeah, so she loved music and entertainment, and she started taking me to Broadway musicals when I was a baby. Because we're in Philly, New York. It was very close. We just hop on a train and go in the afternoons, and so I've always been fascinated with Broadway musicals. And so what happened was, in school, I always sang in the Glee Club and did plays and things like that. And then one day after I graduated, my girlfriend said to me she's going to New York to audition for a Broadway musical. And I'm like, okay, girl, that's going to be great. I said, you need me to go with you for support? And she's like, yeah, would you? I was like, yeah, sure. So we went, and all the people were auditioning for the show, and I'm trying to build my girlfriend up. I'm like, girl, don't worry about it. You got this. They can't sing. I'm just talking, built her up. Meanwhile, there's this guy sitting next to me, which I didn't know at the time. He was like the producer. And he said to me, do you think you can do better? And I'm like, I know I can do better, but my girlfriend is the one.
But you were there to support her. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. And so anyway, he said, why don't both of you audition? I'm like, well, I'll just do it, just to make you happy. And I auditioned, and I got the role.
And you got the role.
She didn't.
And she did it. Oh,
like,
no.
Oh, my God.
So what happened to the friendship?
We still talk.
You're still very good. Very good.
Yeah,
well, that's
she's
good.
Very sweet.
Well, that's a sign of a very true and
We
good
actually
friendship.
hired her as a backup singer for our band.
Well, that's excellent.
Yeah.
Well, that's how it works, though, sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. As long as you're still engaged and you still support each other, you still care for each other. I mean, that's the whole point. Well, I'm originally from Connecticut myself, so I know what you're saying. Yeah. We would go, I was from New Haven, and we would go into New York City, of course, as well. And we would go see the musicals. And I remember one of my first shows that I would see as a little girl. We would take, there was some kind of bus junket that my mother would go on, and we would go see the Rockettes at Radio City Music Hall. Oh boy, did I want. And that's why that was it. That was my goal, is I wanted to be a Rockette. But of course, that's why I say I became a stand-up comic, because I'm too short to be a showgirl.
But you still got the look.
Yeah.
Oh, you're very sweet.
She got pretty legs too.
So from there, you went from doing Broadway musicals?
Oh, yeah, I did Broadway musicals, but I was like getting over just seeing Philly, New York, and New Jersey. I was like the tri-state area. It is a big world out here. How can I go see the world for free? Okay, I'll be a flight attendant. So I applied with Pan Am and Eastern back in the day.
Yes.
Neither one of them are here anymore. But anyway, Pan Am called me, for an interview, and I got the job, and I just fell in love with it.
Yes, and what time period was that?
Let's see. I was with Pan
60s,
Am,
70s?
maybe, in the 70s, definitely. I think I started like 75, something like that.
I saw an interesting documentary on that not too long ago about the airlines in the 70s.
Yeah.
When they were really using, really good-looking women, and they were, just bringing on a lot of diversity in the in travel.
And we actually got dressed to be on a plane.
Yes.
People can't imagine that now.
Yes.
Oh my God, you can wear anything, but people had class when they flew, whether it was first class or economy. We cooked real food in first class.
Remember that?
Yes. We had real food, and it was just a whole different world back then. And you don't hear about plane crashes here like you do every day on the news. There's a plane crash or something's going on with a plane. I'm like,
somebody's tinkering.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Twilight Zone episodes.
It can't be the technology. I mean, you look at it like this. Isn't the technology supposed to be better?
It's supposed to be better.
Yeah, you were saying,
I'm asking myself.
Expect it was like little gremlins sticking their faces in the windows, And how long were you an attendant?
Oh, let's see. How long did I fly? Let's see. It was like 9 years. I don't even remember.
I think about 9 years.
About 9 years, I think.
Now you're looking at Wesley. So now, did you meet Wesley during this time?
That's why I stopped flying.
We have to start at the beginning for that. We have to start at the beginning.
Oh my God. Okay, yeah, you can tell them how we met if you like.
All right, a little water,
I'll
please.
give you a chance to talk.
Can I speak, ladies? I mean, I don't want
Yeah,
to...
you can speak
okay,
a little.
Wesley. All right, okay.
I want to just...
Okay, Shelly is going to turn the floor to Wesley. So Weslly, how did you meet this lovely lady?
It goes way back.
We have to start how you got in entertainment first and then lead up to
Okay.
that.
Okay.
As a kid,
I'll let him have a little piece.
my cousin was an opera singer. Her name was Jackie Campbell. She sang with the Philadelphia Philharmonic,
Okay.
which was at the time directed by Leonard Bernstein. And
I think I've heard of him.
yeah, I think you might have heard that guy. But he was a great guy to me. When I started, I was only doing classical music and gospel because I grew up in the church. My great-grandfather was a Baptist minister.
And where are you from, Wesley?
Philadelphia, PA.
Oh, Philadelphia,
Same thing.
okay.
But we've lived all over the world. It's another story. Long story short, we started doing a lot of different music for different genres, they call them these days. But actually, we were just dipping in all styles from the church. My church choir, we would rearrange music to sound like the most modern music, but still be spiritual. We would do things like that. And being classical, my uncle was Bootsy Barnes. He was Duke Ellington's lead saxophonist.
Wow.
And so I grew up playing Hammond B3 organ with him and singing with his trio, which is Philly Joe Jones. I was our drummer, which is a very famous jazz drummer. And along that time, I got a scholarship to Juilliard School of Music.
Wonderful.
And I went there and I graduated, taught there for a little while. And in the interim, I had 3 hit records with a group called the Stylistics. I was an original member of the Stylistics.
Of the Stylistics?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was the young boy of the band, the youngest member of the band they ever had. And I guess I was around 14, 15 when we...
Didn't they sing If You Don't Know Me by Now?
No, you're thinking Harold Melvin.
No,
but I'm going to tell you what we
am I
did
thinking?
sing.
What did
Same
you sing?
company,
What
though.
did
Same
you sing?
company, Sound of Philadelphia.
You make me feel
I produced, co-wrote You Make Me Feel Brand New.
Oh, You Make Me Feel Brand New. Yeah.
That's one of our hits. But the Stylistics have so many, Russell and Herb and Arian, and those guys were great to me as a kid because they had to take care of me a lot, because I was kind of crazy in those days.
Who wasn't crazy in those days? Come on.
But it was great times. The music was great. Most of the people I met, so many, you name it, of the industry, we were all together at some point or another. Barry White and Oh God!
Did you worked with Barry White?
Smokey, Barry White, Lionel. Well, I was a Commodore as well.
Oh, you were a Commodore as well.
Yeah, when I left the Stylistics, I went to Commodores. We were called the Mean Machine Commodores.
Wow.
Yeah, we were
wow.
kick-ass band. We loved it. But music is different these days, unfortunately. It's not as much, I don't think, time being spent in songwriting, because some of the songs these days are not songs, they're just loops, we call them.
There doesn't seem to be as much messaging in the songs of today. There just seems to be just like cut and dry and just a lot of redundancy.
Yeah, it's not an art. Well, it's an art in the sense of knowing how to do that properly.
Right.
That's the art of it.
Right.
But the artists are not really artists anymore. They don't. We used to have a thing called the whip shack.
The whip
shack.
And
the band would have to go there, and we wouldn't come out of there until it was right. We would stay sometimes overnight. And we would sleep and eat and everything and live.
It was a passion.
Exactly. Chicago is another band that did that.
Yes.
They bought a place out in the middle of somewhere in Oklahoma, and just to do that, one of their greatest albums, Only the Beginning, and all that stuff they did back then. They spent about 2 or 3 months just only doing that. And nobody does that anymore.
Right.
Because nobody takes the time. That's the problem.
Well, and I really have to totally agree with you. It's like there's not enough patience for the process.
No, it's not enough. And in that you take out the creativity. In that you take out the artistic. What Sinatra would be, why is this person so prominent? Because they take the time to take the craft and really get it together.
Yeah.
That's what
I mean, I know you probably know that my background is in education, and I have seen over the years, I was in education for like over 20 years, and I could see just in the learning processes alone, how students have gone from note-taking, looking what you're writing on the board and taking notes in notebooks to actually just taking pictures of the board on their phones.
I know. I can't even imagine.
That's one of the things.
And I would ask them, I really wanted to conduct a study at some point to see how much retention was there, between people who actually went through the process of taking the notes,
reading,
and
studying,
just taking snapshots and studying to see the degree of retention.
Right.
Because it's pretty similar to that,
Extremely
approach.
Similar. It all is relative. When you look at the world, our population, the driving, everything, how things change around us. Of course, it's related to technology. Technology is a wonderful thing. As a record producer, singer, writer, I love it, but at the same time, you have to take that out sometimes. You have to unplug that and deal with the human soul and the human spirit.
The human element.
That's what's missing in a lot of music and a lot of people. Because they're losing. You can't sit at a table with a family and do this. Everybody's doing this.
Right.
It just doesn't work.
Right.
It's not life.
Right. You're absolutely right. In terms of even just connecting with your immediate family. When you have your kids, just texting at the table or something, you have no idea what's going on in their world because you can't hear them speak to their friends.
Exactly. It's a whole weird world right now. It is.
It's a weird little world.
Continuing
but anyway, getting back to how you met.
We're going on that road. Let's stay on the right path here.
We're going to start a song. Okay. We're going to start a song on this. We're going to write a song.
I'm going to write a song called The Right Path.
That's right, The Right Path. You've heard it here on this episode right now.
Stay on. So I was at the point in the music career, my music career, that I was doing well. I mean, as a kid, of course, I'm in an amazed world. My head's spinning, and I didn't think of it as money, It never crossed my path to say, how much am I going to make? It just said to me, my stuff's here. I'm doing what I love.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. I could come home from high school, junior high, and help these major groups, the biggest groups in the world, be a success.
Right.
In many ways. So that made me grow up really fast because I came from the church. And then coming out of that, I decided I had to take a break for about a year. And a friend of mine in Philadelphia bought a nightclub. And he asked me to perform in this nightclub in Manioc. And I was there, and a beautiful place, white baby grand, and it was just, I was still in heaven. But then walks this girl, and she's really on me pretty heavy.
Not me. It wasn't me.
Oh, was it you? It wasn't you.
My friend.
It wasn't Shelly, but she said she knew I was not quite interested. And she said, well, I know somebody you might like.
And that was Shelly?
There she is.
Okay.
This is,
And now that was Shelly.
that was Shelly.
I didn't go in there looking for anything. I just came because it was my birthday. And
we
my
were both
girlfriend
married
took
at the
me out.
time.
Oh.
Yeah, and it was,
Now we're dishing.
I know, right? Exactly.
I knew we'd get to this.
So he knew my girlfriend, so he came over on his break, and we all started to talk and get to know each other and everything. And so when I told him that I had done Broadway musicals, and he was like, "Oh, you can sing?" I was like, "Yeah." He says, "Why don't you come up to the piano and sing a song with me?" And I'm like, "Okay." And so I forgot what song it was. It was something like "Tonight I Celebrate."
Tonight I Celebrate. It was a duo by Peabo Bryson and Roberta Flack.
Peabo Bryson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay, let's do that. So we sang that, and after we sang, this guy came over to the table, and he goes, "I heard you two singing." He goes, "I came in for dinner." He goes, "I'm opening a new club around the corner, and I want to hire you guys to be my music, right?"
There you go.
Yeah, but I was like, "No, I'm a flight attendant. I travel around the world. No, thank you."
No, she was that,
I'm
believe
good.
me. She was
But
all that.
What happened was, eventually, we both separated from our significant others that we had at the time and moved on down the line. We would see each other out in Philly, maybe at a disco club, whatever. So once we were both like divorced and everything, then we decided
Then the paths connected again.
Exactly.
But I used to see her all the time through the years. Through the 70s, like when we were playing like Radio City or in New York, I used to see her in New York at Studio 54. I mean, we all got around. And the time that I really caught up to her before that time, I'll never forget. It was a place called Kim Graves on Sampson Street in Philadelphia, PA. And I came in, and for the second time, she wouldn't talk to me. She wouldn't talk to me at the beauty pageant she was in, and because I was helping my friend, but she wouldn't talk to me then, because I carried an entourage of about 15 people, 20 people all the time. So it was kind of a lot, and she just didn't want to relate to me at those times. At any rate, I saw her at Kim Graves.
Got married. I was a single girl. I was
I saw her at Kim Graves. She had on a bunny outfit. It was Easter just passed, you know. She had on a bunny outfit with the ears and the tail.
The little tail.
And I said, "That's that girl who was in the pageant that didn't want to talk to me." And I asked the owner of the place, I said, "Can you ask her to have a drink with me?" And this time she remembered me from the beauty pageant. And she said, "Okay, I'll have a drink with her," but she still wouldn't go out with me. And then I didn't see her until years later, till what we're talking about now.
Wow.
But what happened was, eventually, we did decide to start dating. And, we did for a while. And then one day, I was still flying with Pan Am. And then one day, we woke up and he's like, "Don't go to work today. Stay home and play hooky." And I'm like, "No, I love my job. I'm going to work." And
I said, "No, you're not." I said, I didn't let
And
it.
he's like, "Well, no, but you just think if you took off today, we could maybe make some music together, do this and that." Anyway, he talked me into it, right? So I called in sick. And thank God I did, because that day I was scheduled to be on the Pan Am Flight 103 Lockerbie that crashed and burned.
She was supposed to be on that Lockerbie flight.
So he kind of saved my life. So I figured I'd go ahead and marry him.
And I didn't know.
He was a good omen then. That was
just a blessing.
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
Yeah.
Lordy, Lord. Well, you know what? I know we have a clip, and I know we're starting to run out of time already.
Oh, wow, time flies.
Rick, do you have that clip that they recorded last night at that session?
You bet. Stand by.
Yeah. I'd really like to show this clip.
Motown was the 60s. The sound of Philadelphia was the 70s. I think you guys might remember some of these songs.
And you have been singing together ever since. Absolutely. How long? So now, how long has it been that you have been? That was absolutely fantastic. It was
My goodness.
Yeah.
So
I
how
never
long
even
has it
saw
been
that
that you-
video before.
Okay, I guess we've been together a total of 40 years.
40 years.
Yeah.
God, it goes by so fast.
Too
Doesn't it?
fast.
Oh my
Please
goodness.
slow down.
Yeah. So now you perform. You perform here in Vegas, obviously.
Yeah. You know, we were
and-
doing cruise ships for 23 years, but then when COVID happened, our company kind of went under, the one we were based on, and that was in Asia. And so we decided to come back home to Vegas because we had moved here like years before. And so we came back here, and then, you know, we're like, oh my goodness, we have to find somewhere to perform now that we're not going back out to ship. So there was a restaurant down the street from me, and it was called Lola's of
Lola's.
Summerlin. Yeah.
Yes.
So, you know, we went there for lunch one day and met the owner, and next thing you know, we're performing there every Saturday night.
We're a
We've been
family
doing
there.
that like,
That's
Yes.
our
yeah,
family.
we've been there like 5 years now, right?
More than that,
Maybe
about
more.
8 or 9
Yeah,
years.
it might be.
So you're there
When we
every-
come in and out of
every
town, we travel
Saturday.
so much normally. But we've been
Yeah.
home since COVID, we decided to keep our landladies, you know? Just because we kind of missed, when you're out at sea, we got stuck on a ship in Singapore for a year and a half.
Wow.
And we decided at that point, well,
You were
maybe
stuck on the ship in
after
Singapore?
25 years
Yeah.
on the ships,
And we
it's
couldn't get off.
time to just stay on land.
Amazon trucks pulled up
What
to the
an
ship every
adventure.
day
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
crew, for a mouthwash and soap and deodorant and basic
Oh, it was
necessities.
crazy.
Trucks were lined up at the terminal.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So
I
yeah.
said, no, I'm not
COVID
ready to
tests
go
a day.
back out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
The audience had to sit far apart. Everybody wore masks.
5,000
Yeah.
people theater, but you have half of that, and they're all spread all over the
Oh,
place.
yeah.
Oh.
It was so weird. It was
Crazy
the
time.
strangest
Yeah.
time.
Crazy time.
All of our lives.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you're at Lola's every Saturday
Yeah.
night
Yeah.
from what time to what
From
time?
6 to 10.
From
and
6
then
to
we're
10.
also at the German American Club the
Yeah.
second Tuesday of every month.
Uh-huh.
We do a Motown, and we call it Motown and More.
Motown
because
and
we
More.
like more than one style of music, so we like to give everybody
We play
what they
every
like.
genre.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sing
Yeah.
in 8 languages. So
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
you
Yeah,
have
we
to
have
do
another
like
gig coming up at Miller's Tavern.
That's on the
right?
2nd of May, I think.
Yeah,
that is.
and that's in the Del Webb community up in
Oh,
Summerlin.
yes.
Yeah,
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 I
we'll
love
be there.
Miller's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
you
love
have to
Miller's
come
Tavern.
there.
Yeah, I will.
You know,
I
we can get a
will.
party
you know,
there.
we'll do some partying. I
Yeah,
love that. Yeah.
okay, that'll be
yeah,
great.
We'll do a little shot. Yeah, a little
Yeah.
setup and
Look
all
forward
that.
to that.
Well, yeah. Well, before we go, I want to present you, Shelly, with a very official Cougarlicious refrigerator magnet.
I love it. I love
Which
it.
has our creed: a woman who stands in her own power, celebrates the divine diva, and enjoys a little eye candy,
There you go.
which we know you do
All
with your
right.
man
Oh,
Wesley
my
here.
God.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I have all the eye candy today. It's me. I'm the lucky one.
I want to thank you both so much for
Thank you
joining
too
us
so much,
today.
Donna.
Thank
And I want to
you.
thank you all for joining us as well here at the Cougarlicious Clubhouse. And I just want to remind you all to like, share, and subscribe. Remember, it doesn't cost anything to subscribe to the channel. And when you hit that little bell, you will be reminded every time an episode comes up. And I also want to remind you that you too can get some very fine, fun merchandise on the website cougarlicious.com. And I think, let's see, Rick, you've got a little preview of what you have on the store. We have fun little t-shirts, we've got underwear, we've got cool little cups, we've got totes, we've got wine glasses. Let's see, as this continues to go, we've got ornaments, and we've got these cute little mugs with the metallic. We even have hats. All the prices include shipping, and the first time that you go on, you get a 15% discount. So is that not cool or what? That's just like my little gift to you when you go on. So that's cougarlicious.com. And I think, and remember to say hey to Linder Health Skincare. Go on to linderhealth.com/Donna, and when you order product there, you'll also get a free gift. So until then, I will say so long for now, and see you next time.